Welcome to another episode on Rising Coaches with Sophia Bernardi. Today, I am bringing you a bonus podcast episode for the week. And not only that, but I'm going to be dropping an additional 2 episodes this week as well. So in total, you are having 4 episodes this week on the podcast. The reason being, I just ran a free 3-day challenge called Crickets to Clients in my private Facebook group, and the feedback and the results were absolutely incredible that I didn't want you to miss out either. This is a free 3-day challenge that I actually ran over a year ago as well. And again, the feedback was so good that I decided to bring it back again this year. But with all of the updates and new information about what's working right now to start to grow and to scale your coaching business. So today I am sharing with you day 1 of the Crickets to Clients challenge. We have done our best to remove any of the fluff, the fillers, and me, pausing and letting people answer in the comments and so forth out of this episode. So it's just packed full of the value and not all of the rest. So we've done our best to do that to, really condense the time of it and just get you getting results as quickly as possible. But I highly recommend that you lean into this episode and you take a lot of notes, because the more you lean into this, the better your results are going to be. So day 1 of this Crickets to Clients challenge is me talking all about how to build that unshakable confidence to show up online and sell. So you're going to be learning my biggest mindset shifts that helped me to stop overthinking, start showing up with confidence, and start consistently attracting the right kind of paying clients, even if you're starting from zero. So this challenge, not only today, but the next 2 days as well that follow, are perfect for new coaches or coaches just starting out. So if that's you provide a service online or you want to, but you've got a lot of fear and a lot of doubt coming up for you when it comes to doing so, this episode is going to be absolutely perfect. So dive on in, listen to this episode, take notes, and then I would love to hear your takeaways as well, because I received a lot of messages after running this challenge of people saying that they got more value out of, day 1 and even all 3 days than they had in a paid program they'd been in, or they'd gotten more clarity than they had in years, and they started, showing up, they started implementing and signing clients already. So I know that this is going to be so valuable for you as well if you lean into this full experience. Come message me on Instagram at Sophia Rose Bernardi after you have listened to let me know your biggest takeaways, as that was the kind of accountability I held for those that participated in the challenge. So I want to offer the same for you, because it makes a world of a difference. Enjoy. Over the next 3 days, you are going to learn the exact mindset, message, and method to go from crickets to clients without complicated tech, burnout, or overwhelm, so that you can start attracting ideal clients with ease. Today is all about building that inner foundation, because without it, no strategy will stick. The truth is that mindset is what separates the dabblers from the 6-figure CEOs. So we're going to be teaching and going through so much strategy over the next 3 days, but today is about the mindset and the foundation, because otherwise all of the amazing strategy that I'm going to share with you on day 2 and day 3 just will not land if you don't get this right. A little bit of background on me for those that are new, because a lot of you are. We've had over 500 people register for this free challenge, and many of you are new. So hi, my name is Sophia Rose Bernardi, and I am the creator of the Scalable System. I help ambitious female coaches go from 0 to consistent 30K months and beyond the simple, sustainable way. As a mindset and business coach, I was honored to be voted by the New York City Journal as one of the top 30 coaches to look out for in 2021, which was shortly after I started my business. And having built my coaching business to over $2 million to date by the age of 26, I understand what it takes to succeed. My approach combines mastering your mindset, strategy, systems, and sales to grow and scale your coaching business, no matter where you're at on your journey, whether you're just starting out or you've been in business for several years. In addition to my coaching expertise, I am an NLP master practitioner, a hypnotherapist, and have been certified by the Tony Robbins Life Coaching and John Gottman's Couple Therapy programs. I've run retreats, spoken in front of hundreds of people at schools, been featured in articles, and been on the news and more. But my journey did not start there. It was only 6 years ago that my life was very, very different. I was working 5 casual jobs to get by. I was living with my grandparents. I was single and had no idea what to do with my life until I discovered coaching. Through overcoming my own personal challenges, I decided to help others do the same. I invested in a high-level coach, which was super scary, but I implemented everything and my business blew up. Then I transitioned to helping coaches to grow sustainably too, whilst living their best life, because that is something that, a lot of people just started asking me when they saw me rapidly growing and they wanted to know how to do the same. I am evidence that no matter what your current circumstances or current beliefs are, that you can turn them around and create a life beyond your wildest dreams and expectations. You really can have it all when you master your mindset and implement these simple and scalable strategies to grow. And that is what I'm going to be teaching you over the next few days. So over the next few days, I'm going to share with you as much as I possibly can to help you start and grow and scale your coaching business. And then for those of you that want to continue the journey together to grow really quickly and be supported every step of the way, I am offering free roadmap calls to everyone watching to show you the process that today makes me $70,000+ per month, whilst having a free calendar every week, and see if my support would align with you so that you can create the same. So today I'm going to share with you the simple mindset shifts to help you stop overthinking, show up with confidence, and start consistently attracting paying clients online, even if you're starting from zero. So here's the thing. There is enough evidence out there from coaches that it is possible to make a lot of money whilst having a lot of fun, freedom, and impact. Do you guys agree? Have you seen that? Whether it's me or someone else, that you've noticed that there are some coaches out there that are making a lot of money, they have a lot of freedom, a lot of time, they're having a lot of fun, they just make it look so easy, right? And some coaches really make it look incredibly easy, right? They have the following on social media, lots of sign-ups to their events, free resources, clients signing up in their sleep, and without sales calls. And it's almost annoying, right? It's like, what's the secret? What do they know that I don't? How are they doing this? And then I'm doing everything I can only to have crickets on my social media. Like, you're following all of these coaches, trying to piece it all together. What the heck are they doing that you're not? You're going through people's funnels just to try and figure it out. You're signing up for things and trying to understand the steps that, they've put in place and how you could possibly model that. You're scrolling on social media, refreshing your notifications, but there's nothing. You're thinking about starting or growing your business all of the time, and it's exhausting because you just want to help people. But no matter how much you think about it or how much you do, it just isn't happening. Not only that, but you're comparing yourself to these coaches, wondering, what am I missing? Why do others have this success and not me, right? Why does this seem so much harder than it needs to be? And that's why, we're having this conversation right now, because it's so important, as it doesn't need to be that way. And why is it that two people can be in the exact same program and one gets incredible results whilst the other one struggles? Guys, it's their mindset. That is why. Yes, strategy is essential. I'm a strategy girly. I love strategy. I could talk about it all day, every day, because it's genuinely supported me to make over $2 million in the last 5 years. Right? And I would not have made that or even a fraction of that without strategy. Okay, so I love strategy, but I don't just love any strategy. I love simple, sustainable, scalable strategy that is also enjoyable and in alignment with my values, missions, and goals. Okay, so I'm all about strategy. However, if you don't have the mindset piece, not only will you struggle to implement it, but it also just won't work. Okay, so yes, strategy is essential, and there's no way you could sustainably scale without an aligned, simple marketing strategy with a seamless sales process in place. But that's easy to do when you just join the right program and you implement it. The problem is that many don't do that. They either don't invest in themselves, or they do, but they don't implement it because of their fears, doubts, and subconscious blocks keeping them stuck where they are. And it's so subtle that even if you are implementing strategies and showing up, if you have these subconscious blocks, or maybe it's even conscious, or fears, it's felt energetically by your audience and you won't be able to grow your business. They can feel it, guys. We can tell when someone's got confidence and when someone is congruent and when they're not, okay? Because if you can't overcome your own fears and your own objections when it comes to getting out of your comfort zone and investing in yourself, then how could you possibly support your audience to do the same with you, right? Now, would it be helpful if I shared the exact mindset that supported me to go from 0 at 22 years old to over $1 million in under 4 years without any complicated tech, any Facebook ads, or a large team, whilst I was working 5 casual jobs for the first year and a half in business? The 3 huge mindset shifts in particular that supported me the most on this journey to get to my first $1 million. Now, number 1 was deciding to focus on the long-term vision rather than the short-term wins, and how this makes the very difference between making multiple 6 figures and not, right? I see a big difference in the entrepreneurs who are in it for the quick wins versus the long-term growth. It's felt energetically, and your results will deeply suffer if A, you're only in it for the money, and B, you need that money desperately. Who can relate? Who can tell when someone's desperately needed the money, right? Coaches with a long-term vision have more fun and make more money long-term, whilst typically someone in it for the short-term reasons ends up feeling stressed, burnt out, and unfulfilled. Typically because they are not investing in themselves. They're, trying to not spend any money, and they're just hustling and copying other people and so forth. And that's exhausting. Coaches with a long-term focus also aren't afraid of investing in themselves because they're committed to the full journey without a plan B, and therefore grow faster because they're willing to invest in the support to get there faster, right? I know which one I would rather be. Because I have focused on the long-term vision, I've never been scarce or desperate, and I stayed working my casual jobs for as long as I needed to until I was truly in a great position, to leave those jobs, because I never wanted to be desperate for a client. That's why I've been able to grow. I have never been in a rush, I'm not scarce, and I'm not blaming anyone if I don't get instant results. Like I said, I know which one I would rather be. What would you guys rather be? Short-term or long-term focus? The beginning stages is the hardest. It is so hard when, you're a mum of a couple of kids, you're working potentially a full-time or a part-time job, and you're just starting out, and you're not, marketing, sales, delivery, all of that is very foreign to you and doesn't come naturally, right? That's really difficult, okay? Really, really difficult. So we want to get out of that phase as quickly as possible, because the slower you move, the more guesswork and the more hard work you do, the harder it becomes, and the longer you're in that really hard phase, and that's when it gets really exhausting. But because I invested in myself straight away, I implemented no tomorrow, and it was high level support, not some self-paced course that has, a really low completion rate or anything like that. High level coaching, I was willing to invest in that. Even before I had made any money, before I had any evidence that I ever would, I did that so I could get out of that situation as fast as possible, because that's the hardest part. When you're able to leave your job, or if you're a full-time mum or not currently working or whatever, but you're then making money and you're in a position to delegate some things and get your time back more, that's when you start to really grow and pick up that momentum. But the first goal is get the frick out of that situation as quickly as possible, right? Okay. So here's the thing, focusing on long-term vision doesn't mean moving at snail's pace or not desiring a big income. I've grown quickly and I'm in this game for life. So from a mindset perspective, if something goes wrong, which hello, it will, or I'm having a bad day or week, I'm not as affected mindset-wise, because long-term it just doesn't matter. Whereas when your behavior is very short-term focused, it's easy to catastrophize and blame people and get overwhelmed and quit and stop and start and stop and start, or go so slowly because your mindset is just not amazing and it's making it really hard to do the simplest of tasks. Who's relating here? Now, questions for you guys that I would love for you to answer in the comments. Are you truly committed to the life and the business that you say you want? Or are you still negotiating with your dreams, letting fear dictate the show, playing small, holding yourself back, letting your fears, speak above your higher self? Let me know in the comments. There's no right or wrong answer. I'm really just curious to hear. Are you truly committed to the life and business you say you want, or are you still negotiating with your dreams? Let me know. It is scary to take the leap and get out of your comfort zone, but when you do, your whole life changes. And so rather than focusing on what if it doesn't work, what if that, and focusing on the fear, focus on what you can gain. Because do you know what's also scary is staying where you are if where you are right now is not where you want to be. And to be honest, when I look at the difference between those that are committed and those that are lacking, and those that make big investments and make big leaps despite fear being present, and those that don't, the difference is that those that invest, those that leap despite fear, despite the unknowns, they are more afraid of staying the same or their situation getting worse. And so despite the fear, they're willing to make new decisions and changes to turn that around because they don't want to stay there, right? Hopefully that helps. So that's question number 1 for you. Another question for you is, if you knew that you were guaranteed to succeed long term, what decision would you make today without hesitation? There's no right or wrong with what this answer is for you. This is going to be different for everyone. But if you focused on not what might go wrong or what might not go right, or the fear or the challenges, the problems, the uncertainty, and instead you knew you were guaranteed to succeed with the strategy and support, what decision would you make today without hesitation? Because honestly, that's the lens that you need to focus on. That's the energy you need to be in order to create the life that you want. Not from focusing on what you don't want. What you focus on will grow. So you have to focus on what you do want. And by believing that it's possible, that energy is going to feel so abundant, and you're going to take certain actions that are actually going to support you to get the results. Whereas if you believe it won't work for you, you're not good enough, others can have it, but you can't, and all of these stories, then that's going to be your reality, because your thoughts create your feelings create the actions that you do or do not take, and the actions you do or do not take will dictate the result that you get. So yeah, it's about the actions, but it starts with the thoughts, right? Because when I'm telling myself I'm not good enough, I'm a failure, I'm never going to succeed, which by the way, I've told myself that plenty of times when I first started, and other people have told that to me, by the way, as well, which is not fun. But when I was in that energy, was I taking action? No. I was crying myself to sleep. I was not taking action. Whereas when I tell myself, I can do this, yes, it's hard, yes, it's scary, yes, it's unknown, but I'm committed to following the path to make it known, make it certain, make it my reality. And then do you think I took action from that energy? Of course I did, because that's way more empowering, right? And that's why you have to look at it from the lens of, if you knew you were guaranteed to succeed, knowing that you are, if you never give up and you keep going and you take the right actions with the right support, then what decision would you make today without hesitation? So that's the first piece that I want to share with you. Deciding to focus on the long-term vision rather than the short-term wins, and how this makes the very difference between making multiple 6 figures and not, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing that has really supported me mindset-wise was embodying the multiple 6-figure version of myself. And you can insert any number, whether that's the 6-figure version of yourself, the 5-figure version of yourself, the 7-figure, like the concept is the same, okay? So how can you possibly make that level of income if you don't first become that person? If you want a different result in your life, you need to be a match for that energetically. Do your thoughts, feelings, and actions match your goals? Be honest with yourself here, because if they don't be surprised if you're not there yet. Really let that sink in. We will consistently attract what we have set as our energetic minimum, like our standards and our baseline. You all have that right now. You've got this baseline. Maybe it's $4,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, but you've got like this baseline, this energetic minimum based on what you believe is possible for you, based on what you believe you deserve, and all of those things. But the cool thing is we can change that baseline. We can change that energetic minimum and increase that. There was a point where, you know, when I first started my business, I knew that I just needed $4,000 a month to get by. That's what I was focused on, is what do I need to survive and get by? Just like someone's comment here before, it's like, what do I need to be able to just feed my kids? It's like, that's her energetic minimum, just making sure bills are covered, right? But what if we raised that to that and freedom, that and time, that and spaciousness, that and fulfillment, that and being full-time in a career that you love, right? So I knew that I needed $4,000 a month to get by. And you guessed it, I never earned $1 more than that. When I set a new standard by getting clear on the next level of me and committing to becoming her, I started to focus not just on what I needed to survive, but instead what I needed to thrive. In other terms, I raised my energetic standards. After making that decision, The very following month, I had my first $10,000 month. That was back in 2021, I believe, and I have never looked back since. From there, I then made $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month that year, and then that was my new baseline, was $30,000 a month, and I've never gone under that ever since. And now my new baseline is between $50,000 and $70,000 a month, and it keeps increasing, okay, as I do the work, as I lean in, as I get better, right? Here's the thing though, most people say they want something, but they aren't willing to do what it takes to become that person. They are all in until something goes wrong, which will happen. They are all in until they need to make a big risk or leap in their business, even before it makes logical sense or before they've signed the clients. They are all in until it gets hard. My friends, that is not all in. That is not all in at all. That's very conditional and not helpful in your business or in your life for that matter. If I only ever went to the gym when I felt like it, I would not have the body and the vitality and the health and the energy that I have today. If I only worked when I felt like it, I would not have the business or have created, so much money and so much impact and helped hundreds of people to change their lives, right? If I only did things when I felt like it or when it was easy or when it was convenient. No. But that's how most people operate, which is why most people do not succeed in their business. Don't sign any clients, let alone a 5K month or a 10K month or anything beyond that. It's such a small percentage that makes more than that because it's such a small percentage that's willing to lean in when it's hard. In order to be a match for what you want, you also need to be able to hold the opposite. I go through challenges and difficult or uncomfortable things every single week in my business. But I've normalized these things. I've built resilience and strength and a certain mindset that doesn't make those things even a problem, which is why they're not a problem. I face challenges every week. So do most people. The difference is whether you can handle it or not. If you can't handle what you're presented with right now, if you can't come over your own BS, your own fears, your own limitations, then the universe or God is not going to give you anything more than that because you can't handle what you have now. So when I'm presented with a challenge, I don't make it a problem. I don't make it wrong because I tell myself, if I can't handle this, I can't handle more. This is a resilient mindset that I've built that supports me so much to continue to grow every single month in my business. So if you want to get 10K months, 5K months, 20K months, whatever it is, you have to be able to hold the opposite that also comes with that. Client challenges, people rejecting you, saying no, right? Tech challenges, needing to learn new things, the algorithm changing, new social media platforms coming, your account getting hacked, nasty comments. And I'm not saying I experience all of these things all the time. Thankfully, I think I've received hate one time in my business many, many years ago. And yeah, it hurt, but here I am. Everything's fine. And I feel sorry for those people, right? That are living miserable lives that they feel the need to hate on other people. But that's totally okay, right? But I've gone through those things, but I've moved through them, and that's why I have the business that I have today, okay? You're not supposed to just get the thing the second you say that you want it without the bold moves, the big risks, and the challenges coming your way. If you were, everyone would be successful. Truthfully, most are not willing to invest in themselves or play full out until they've got results first, which is such a backwards mindset and why 90% of businesses stay stuck and give up on their dreams ultimately, because they're operating from a backwards mindset that they've learned and been conditioned to do, and it's a fear-based process. But if you want a different result, if you want to be up there with the top, 5-10% people in the world, then you have to operate like that. And they don't operate backwards like that. They operate from the lens that's going to support them to get the result that they want, not making decisions from a place of lack and fear, regardless of their circumstances. In fact, some of the most inspiring people today, Oprah Winfrey, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, all of these people, love them or hate them, it doesn't actually matter. They had some really tough situations and childhood and starting points, and I could have listed hundreds more people, but those top people that we're so inspired by and we all know their name, they didn't have perfect circumstances or conditions. Tony Robbins was a janitor, had several different dads, all of these things, like, his mum was an alcoholic, all of this stuff. There was no perfect circumstances about any of that, but they didn't let that, dictate their future. They wanted a different path, and so they went down that path. The path that is uncomfortable and scary and doesn't make sense to most, but also doesn't make sense to be making millions of dollars a day or a week or a month, right? But if you want that to make sense for you and be your normal, then you have to act like those people. So it starts by being all in and acting accordingly. Otherwise, nothing will ever change. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And it's as simple as that. So let's just say you wanted to make a 10K month. You would often attract certain challenges or obstacles to make you a vibrational match for someone who can hold $10,000 a month in business. Because if you can't handle the challenges that come with that, then how could you possibly hold the $10,000? And I know it sounds simple, like, yeah, I could hold $10,000, I'd have no problem with that. But if you can't hold what comes with that, then you actually can't hold the $10,000. And if you've got those stories of like, I'll invest in myself once I've made $10,000 or once I've signed 3 clients or whatever it might be, right? That mentality is not a match for $10,000 a month, because no one accidentally makes $10,000 a month sustainably, with speed, consistently, and grows. That doesn't happen, okay? So you have to be able to hold it. And so you have to be able to hold the decisions, the discomfort that comes with making that happen. The universe will not give you something that you can't handle. I want you to enjoy the journey. And even if it doesn't look like it's happening right now, you get to trust that it is and make decisions as if they are. You get to focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And the challenges that arise or are here now are there to help you evolve into who you truly want to be. And you will keep experiencing the same challenges, the same fears and doubts that you're experiencing right now until you get the lesson you need to move past it. Let me say that again, right? You get to focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And the challenges that arise or are here now are there to help you evolve into who you're truly meant to be. And you will keep experiencing the same challenges until you get the lesson you need to move past it. Whether that's to make a new decision, to make an investment, to stop playing the hard game when it's meant to be simpler than that, right? To actually ask and receive support and be okay with that. To get out of your own way, to show up, to not care about what stupid people think of you, or people that don't actually want the best of you, right? There are lessons that need to be uncovered with where you're currently at. And if you don't get the lesson, you're going to keep experiencing the same thing of not signing clients, of struggling to grow, of not being able to put yourself out there. There's lessons to gain here. There's breakthroughs to be had. There's fears to be overcome. And when you do that, you move differently. And when you move differently, you get a different result. When I had my first 10K month, I started crying. I was so happy. I was so proud of myself because a lot of work went into getting there. And the truth is my clients get there much faster than I did because they go straight to having the right support, whereas it took me multiple coaches, multiple lessons and learnings to get there. Unfortunately, a lot of programs don't actually have everything that you need in it. One program's just about mindset, one's just about strategy, one's just about, sales, one's just for a certain stage in business. And I had to invest in lots of different coaches to piece it all together to get it to work. Lots of programs don't teach energetics, for example. But I really believe you need all of those things that I just said. You need the mindset, the energetics, you need the strategy, you need the sales, and you need the systems. You need all of that. So I created a program that has all of that. So instead of you having 5 different investments where you feel unsupported, everyone says something slightly different and it takes freaking forever to piece it all together, you can come into one program, have everything you need organized in one nice place and just go straight to what works. That's been my goal, and that's why my clients literally grow faster than I did when I first started. Okay? Because they're going straight to what works. My program is as organized as my color-coded bookshelf, guys. Like, I'm a very organized Virgo. Everything needs to be simple, digestible, not overwhelming, and all of those things. And it's laid out in a nice step-by-step process for you, 6 simple steps, and it gets you to 5K months consistently in 90 days or less. And then we skyrocket from there. But that only happens if you are committed, you are an action taker, you move past your fears, and you lean into the support that's provided. I am there for my clients all day, every day. I've got nothing but time. I've got no calls the rest of the day. My life is chill and it's 9:30 in the morning. Like, I have so much freedom and spaciousness to give everything to my clients. And that's why they grow quickly. And all I ask of you is that you use it because it's there, which is why I only work with committed action takers. I do not work with people that dabble and that are half in and half out, which is exactly why I'm taking the time to share with you that if you want results, you have to be an all-in committed action taker. And that's what we've been speaking about so far, these last 40 minutes, is being that person, because that's the person that makes money and gets results, not the latter, okay? So, question for you. If you were already the multi-6 or 7-figure version of you, what decision would you make today? There's no right or wrong answer here, but what decision what does your higher self tell you would do today if you were already the multi-6 or 7-figure version of yourself? So if you were already the multi-6 or 7-figure version of you, what would you do today? What decision would you make today? There's no right or wrong in what that is, by the way. And what investment, commitment, or bold move are you resisting that your next level self would have already said yes to because they're not operating from a place of fear and doubt? What investment, commitment, or bold move are you resisting that your next level self would have already said yes to? And if you trusted yourself fully, what would you do next? Where are you playing small right now? And what's one step you can take today to raise your standards? Day 1 is all about getting you to move, getting you to take action, getting you to lean in. I'm going to be showing so much strategy tomorrow and on day 3, and you need to be prepared for that. But it's only going to work if you use it. And that's why I'm asking you these questions, so that you lean in, you take bold risks, you take action, because action takers are money makers. And the third mindset shift that made business fun, sustainable, and easy was trusting myself fully. Now, hear me out on this one, because whilst it sounds so simple, the ripple effect on this has been huge. And I find a lot of the time when people are letting their fear run the show and they're not making certain decisions or taking certain actions, it's because they're not trusting themselves. It's a lack of self-trust, like 99% of the time. Right? The ripple effect on this has been huge. And I'm talking the difference between inconsistent $4,000 months in my business and still being employed for further security to now making between $50,000 and $70,000 per month full-time in a business that I truly love with a clear calendar every single week. And by the way, I've run this Crickets to Clients challenge before, about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And I'm running it again because so many people signed clients from this challenge and just had so many breakthroughs like many of you are experiencing right now. And it's really cool because I was watching back on that challenge that I ran about a year ago. And you know what's really cool? In this moment, I wasn't saying 50 and 70K a month. I was saying 30K a month. So in just 12 months, I've increased my monthly reoccurring revenue by $40,000. Can we just take a moment to celebrate how cool that is? Like, in 12 months, my reoccurring revenue is $40,000 higher than it was 12 months ago. I have continuously grown and increased my revenue every year in business in the last 5.5 years. Some years I've even doubled it, and I'm just getting started. If I run this challenge in another year's time, it'll be cool to say that I'm making like 150K a month, because I'm just getting started, because I trust myself fully. I literally went from 4K months to my first 10K month the moment I raised my energetic minimum, not by working harder, but by becoming her. That next level version of me already knew what she wanted and was no longer willing to tolerate anything less. and trusting myself and the decisions that I make have led to this moment today. And I only share that to show what's possible for you. Because, oh my goodness, did your girl have a lot of self-doubt when she started. I used to cry myself to sleep like every week in the first year and a half of my business. It was hard, and I wish my partner was here right now and he could just come on and tell you how in my own way I was, how much I questioned myself, doubted myself, wondered if it would ever be possible for me. I dreamed for a 10K month and never thought that that would even be possible. And here I am making $70,000 a month. Like, that used to take me 60 hours a week of work every week for a year to make $50,000 of that across 5 casual jobs. I didn't have time freedom. I was paying the bills and that was about it. Like, that was my reality. And I did not believe in myself, but because I invested in the mindset and embodiment and energetic support and the strategy, and I paired that all together, here we are today because I never gave up. And if I didn't learn to trust myself, I would have given up, which is why I'm talking about the importance of trusting yourself. I have this video on my personal profile. It's the pinned video on Facebook, and it's of me crying at age 22. Just, I had been in my business for a year and I was just crying on the floor because I was so stuck and not making any money. So if you want evidence that I truly was not this confident, convicted person right now, like, watch that video and you will see, because I was really going through the motions. But it was right after that video that I invested in myself and got the help that I needed, because I was so sick of crying every day and every week because I was struggling. And now I live this life where I don't know the last time I would have cried because of my business. I've cried of joy, of clients' results and transformations, but I haven't cried from it being hard or me questioning things, because I've got the systems and I've got the support. So that just doesn't happen. And I'm not against crying either, right? But I'm just saying it gets better. It really gets better. Trusting yourself doesn't mean just doing business on your own and not listening to anyone, by the way. Trusting yourself means trusting yourself to make investments and make big leaps and to find a way. It means trusting yourself to make decisions for yourself. It means trusting yourself to lead yourself, showing up as the CEO of your business and going all in. Before I trusted myself, I kept looking for the secret strategy that I thought I was missing. I followed advice that didn't feel aligned, tried to do everything, and just ended up feeling stuck. The moment I fully trusted myself to build a business that felt fun, exciting, and aligned, everything changed. It became easier. It became more magnetic. Trusting yourself is the foundation of alignment in your business. When you trust yourself, you stop second guessing. You take bolder action and you create with confidence. And trust isn't just a mindset. It's actually built through action. Every time you make a commitment to yourself and you follow through, you strengthen that trust. And not making decisions and investments that align with your goals is a sign of lack of self-trust. The alignment though, it's magnetic. It draws the right clients in, the right opportunities and abundance with ease. And if you want those dream clients to trust you, you have to go first. Every powerful decision I've made, investing in a coach, launching a new offer, raising my prices, came back to one thing: self-trust. Truly. Right? So a question for you. Where are you not fully trusting yourself in your business? Let's unpack this. Where are you not fully trusting yourself in your business? And what would change if you trusted yourself completely? What would change if you trusted yourself completely? These 3 mindset shifts alone that I've shared today supported me to show up in my business, lean into fear, not remove the fear, but just lean into it, and uncertainty, and grow my coaching business, which is why I have the business and the lifestyle that I have today. It was when I truly implemented these mindset shifts that I started investing in myself properly, taking action on those investments and then getting consistent results. And that is why I've shared them with you today. Today's tasking. Leaders go first. Amazing. Well, if you're struggling with niching, you're going to love tomorrow because it's all about that. And if today resonated with you and you're ready to go deeper with personalized support, if that's a breakthrough you've had today, that you're ready to stop playing small and stop doing this the hard and unsustainable way on your own, and you would like my support to hit consistent 5K months, just direct message me the word roadmap. I've only got a few spaces for these calls, and I'd love to show you what's possible in your business over the next 90 days, as I'm going to be working with a small group of coaches next month, and it's first in, best dressed. So DM me the word roadmap and I'll send you the link to booking a time with me, and we can have a really quick and casual chat where I can show you what's possible for you, answer any questions you might have, and then you're free to make the right decision for you. And if you're like, I don't even need a call, I'm sold, send me the details, I'm in, just send me a message and I will do that. I'm so excited. I hope you have loved today. See you tomorrow for day 2.